He set me up. In our world, you always go back. He just left him there. That's what I can't forgive.
That's my boy. Yo, T, I'm really happy you're home.
It's here again for another movie review. Today we are talking about Need for Speed, which is the film based off the video game franchise of the same name, and it stars Aaron Paul, Dominic Cooper, Imogen Poots, and Michael Keaton. I never played the video game franchise, but besides the title, I don't think the film carries that much resemblance to the game, because I've heard that game doesn't even have a story. And the story of this film is that Aaron Paul plays a car driver named Toby Marshall who, after a series of events involving a race with Dominic Cooper's character, ends him up in prison falsely. And after he gets out of prison, he has to drive cross country to compete in this race against Dominic Cooper that will get him a lot of money and also set things right. I was interested in seeing this movie for one sole reason, and that is Aaron Paul. He is one of my favorite new actors. Ever since Breaking Bad, I've always wanted to see what this guy would do after the show, so I was just incredibly excited to see him in his first starring role. But I was like, oh, he's really doing Need for Speed as his first starring role, but I would like to see how he handled himself. And I do like Aaron Paul in the movie. I think he is really charming, still really charismatic, but he's just given nothing to do. I'll get to that later, but he does give the best performance that the script allows him to, and I think that even though this movie was not up to his standards, I think that this shows that he could be a movie star in the future. I'm sure the people that are going to see this movie are going to see it for the cars, and if you're going to see it for that, this movie is just a straight 2-hour fest of car porn. I mean, you have all these beautiful, beautiful cars, and all the racing scenes were basically shot practically. There's not a lot of CGI, a lot of stunt work. I know Aaron Paul did a lot of his own stunt work for the movie, so it is nice to see a movie that doesn't rely on a lot of special effects. And if there's one person that seems to be having fun in this movie, it is Michael Keaton, who a lot of people may not know is actually in this movie, but he is the guy that kind of coordinates the big race that the movie builds up to as this kind of kooky announcer, and he's just kind of a calmer version of Beetlejuice without the makeup. And whenever he was on screen, he was a lot of fun, and probably the brightest parts of this movie. That being said, this movie is really bad and just really stupid. I haven't really seen a lot of the Fast and Furious movies, but from what people have told me about the last couple is that, yeah, they're stupid, but they have fun with themselves, and they're just so entertaining that you can't help but just have a good time. And that is really the problem with this movie, is not only is it preposterous, but it's just really boring. And I think that's the cardinal sin of this movie, is that it's 2 hours and 10 minutes, which it could have been cut at least 25 minutes from this movie. But it's just boring. A lot of the conversations are just completely dumb. There's a lot of really bad attempts at humor, especially this whole one stripping scene in the middle of this office, which I don't even know how that even came to play. The dialogue and the script in this movie are just terrible. They're so cliche, and that's what I was talking about, that Aaron Paul has nothing to do here, because every line he says like 5 words every scene, and none of them are interesting. The dialogue is not only painfully dumb, but it's just so cliche. You know plot points are going to happen because they're telegraphed many minutes before, and again, even though the racing scenes are well filmed, it's so long that you just don't care. For the whole movie, I really didn't care about any of these guys, and the only reason I semi-cared about the lead character was because it was Aaron Paul. The film really makes no sense just in terms of physics, which I know the Fast and Furious movies do that too, but at least with those, I'm sure they're entertaining enough to be like, okay, I understand that this is insane, but they at least are going all out. This movie, it takes itself really seriously, almost to a point of like melodramatic at points, so when they do this crazy stuff, they don't pull it off. And there's also one character played by Kid Cudi, who plays Aaron Paul's friend that has all these helicopters, and he literally, every scene, he pulls a helicopter out of his ass. I don't even know where he gets it, but he just shows up, and he's like, oh, got a new one. Even the plot to this movie makes no sense, because the whole prize for winning the big race at the end is you get like $7 million worth of cars if you come in first place, but most of the cars in the movie get wrecked, and so you can't, what are you going to spend all the money rebuilding these cars? So even that doesn't make sense. The whole plot is just silly and ludicrous, but again, I would be fine with all this if it was entertaining, but it's just really, really uninteresting and boring. It sucks to come down on this movie this hard, but I really wanted to like this because I like Aaron Paul so much, and I wanted to have people see him as this big movie star and have him prove himself, but unfortunately this wasn't the movie to do it. I do think he gives the best performance he can, but with a very, very limited script. Thought that he had occasionally some nice scenes with Imogen Poots' character, but that was short-lived. And yeah, you can't be this dumb but also be this unentertaining. So I hate to say it, but I did not like Need for Speed. I'm going to give it 1.5 stars out of 5. So let me know what you thought of Need for Speed. Did you have fun with it? Do you think it's up to the quality of the Fast and Furious movies? And have you played the video game? But most importantly, did you watch Breaking Bad? And do you think that Aaron Paul could be a breakout movie star? That's what I want to know. Let me know what you guys thought of the film. If you liked this review, you can subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys later.
Hook up! You are out of your mind. I love it.